Guys, now we're back with some of my best advice, and I learned this when I was a kid, and it's to try. Simply that. A lot of times in life, most people, again, bring ideas to me, and I even hate when I hear people say online, well, most people, I talk to a lot of people. I know a lot of people know me, but 1% actually know me. Point is, I come in contact with tons of people, and most of them have this glossy-eyed look in their eyes, like, man, I've literally heard people say, I wish I had the courage of Tim to bet on myself and try. All I've ever done is try. So I wouldn't know what it's like to not try. But I was asked a question again, another good question on the live. Every now and then somebody comes through super respectful and respectfully asks something that I think other people need to hear. I don't know why they need to hear it from me, but question was, what's the best advice you ever got? And I said, again, I think I said it in a part of this, I don't believe we get great advice. I believe you can get great advice once you go down that rabbit hole of trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. But great advice comes from people that poured into you as a child. And I ain't gonna say a bunch of people poured into me, but there was a value system given to me as a child that gave me perspective on trying. And give you a couple scenarios. I remember going to the store the first time. Dad gave you a list, and you're supposed to be watching them or him, my grandmother, my mom, whoever, the whole time. And it's kind of scary when you pay for the food, give you more than enough, and they know how much everything costs. So you say, okay. I remember I didn't like people. I still don't. And my dad was like, man, you need to get out this house. And I was like, nah, I don't. And he was like, yeah, you do. Dropped me off at the skating rink. I ain't been back since. But he forced me literally to go into environments that made me uncomfortable and hang out with people and learn how to be social and learn how to be kind at times, in a sense, and learn how to help others, ironically, coming from him. But I will tell you this, the one thing I took from every situation and scenario he put me in was, man, you at least got to try. Hell, I didn't want to get my license. What kid do you know doesn't want to drive? I purposely left my birth certificate and social security card on my grandmother's table. And when I left it on the table, we almost got to Raytown, Missouri, from kind of like that Hillcrest area back in Kansas City, Missouri. And he was like, yo, you got your stuff? I was like, no, sir. He's like, man, you go get that license. I was like, dude, I do not want to drive, man. Well, I just came here ride with y'all. And he's like, nah, you got to get a job. You got to do all these things. And even more importantly, I think it is important that children get jobs, because one of the things you learn is how to interview. And interviewing teaches you how to communicate and how to, I don't want to say sell yourself, but make someone consider being a part of your life, or you adding value to their business and being willing to learn, especially when you're considered a youngin'. So when I worked at Worlds of Fun, I was considered a red tag. Red tags could only work a certain amount of time, like 14, 15 years old. When I worked in McDonald's, I was like 15, 16, still limited how many hours you can work. And even more importantly, legally you got to have a certain amount of breaks, and you learn all this stuff as you grow up about yourself that really does hold weight in the future. So when I come in contact with people, and man, even the people in the dog world, hey man, I just got this breed, that breed, and this breed, man, any advice? And I'm like this. For one, it don't work that way. Two, if I was to give you any advice, just try to figure out what your dog needs and learn from your dog through the work you do with your dog. The average pet parent needs to spend an hour a day with their dog. It's the gist of it. And depending on how many dogs you got, it's not enough hours in the day. So if you don't have time to spend an hour a day with your dog, connecting with it, building a relationship, pouring into it, learning from it, taking care of it, enjoying it, then you probably aren't trying, if I'm being honest. And trying is literally the thing that sets you apart. And that doesn't mean you're going to be successful the first time or that it's going to work. Trust me. I know for a fact how difficult it's been to put one foot in front of the other and everything work out and then nothing work out at the same time. It is crazy how many things I've tried and how many things didn't work, only for me to come back and realize, hey, it takes more work, and we're always willing to do more work, but we have to be willing to try. And if you don't try, you kind of you kind of get stifled in your growth. Stifled simply means stuck. You go, man, how do I grow? Well, you can't grow unless you get experience. You can't get experience unless you try. You can't get experience unless you fail. You can't get experience unless you win. You know, you get experience from both sides, winning and losing. Winning gives you perspective on how hard you had to work and what you needed to do to get there. Losing gives you perspective on what areas you need to improve upon. But if you never try, you never learn how to actually become the best you could be. So I'm not a motivational guy, but I do believe that motivation or some of the stuff that I share will be motivating long term in the future. And this is where it starts. It starts with me putting my best foot forward and attempting to add another layer to everything that we're doing or that we do by simply giving people advice. I get a lot of messages, true story. A lot of messages, a lot of inspirational messages, a lot of thank you messages, a lot of I got this and that problem message. And I can't answer them all. So I said, man, what's another way that I can extend my perspective? Because that's all we're doing with the dogs is there's no exact way to raise a child. There's no exact way to raise a dog. There is no exact way realistically to do anything. But there are better ways than not, and some ways that work, and some ways you'll learn from.